Good morning, I'm Linda and I'm one of the assessors at Heavenly's Animal Training UK. I'm just thought I'd do a quick video to talk about the Professional Recognition Award. Thank you so much for everybody who's signed up to it, and I'm hoping that you've all received your resources through the post now. I thought I'd do a quick video just so that you can have a little look at what it is that we're sort of expecting you to lay it out like, and what you need to cover really for the first standard. So if you wanted to have a little look over Christmas, then obviously you can do. I know I've got quite a lot of calls booked in January with you to go through, so if you don't look at it over Christmas, then that's fine, we'll discuss it in January. So hopefully you've received a course guide. It doesn't look quite like this, we've got a different format that we've now sent to you. But in here, one of the first things we ask you for is a CV. So we just need an up-to-date CV, and the reason we ask for that is just so when City and Guilds come and visit, they have to ensure that everybody's doing the right qualification for them. So there's guidance in this book about how to update your CV, and we also require a job description, so what your job role is, we require that as well. So we've going to ask you to look at the very first standard. So in this booklet here, this has got all the standards in there. So this is the City and Guilds handbook. And if you turn to page 19, I think in here, let me just double check, sorry, no, page 17. So here's page 17. And this is the first standard, which is commitment to professional standards. And in this box here, it gives you like a top line of what it is we're expecting you to write about. So we've got apply professional standards, support others, identify and manage the risk management of non-compliance, manage a situation, and complete documentation or other reports. If you then move further down the page, we've got additional guidance here, and this helps explain what it is we're actually looking for. So this is what we want you to write about, and this is what we're asking you to write your sort of dissertation on really. So the first one says, apply professional standards refers to how the individual has been able to implement policies and procedures in their working role in their own area of responsibilities. And then in here it goes into professional standards will include, but is not limited to, legislation, policies and procedures, health, safety and security, equality and diversity, management of information, environmental considerations, professional codes of conduct and other organisation policy and procedures. So in this one we want you to write about all the legislation that a groom has to follow. So the first one it talks about is health and safety. So we all know what the Health and Safety Act is. We don't actually need you to put that in there. But it's what we want you to do is write about how you follow that Health and Safety Act within your salon. So if the floor's wet, you might put out a yellow sign and mop it up. Let the team know that it's wet as well. Though obviously, I know it's a common occurrence, obviously in the grooming salon. But so just the things that you put in place to make sure that you keep you and your team safe. It talks about security, so obviously that could be about how you do the handover of dogs. So you might have like a 2-door policy, or only one dog in the salon at any one time if you're like a lone groomer. So you'd like comment a little bit about that. Equality and diversity, obviously if you might have people within your team, but also you're dealing with customers every day as well. So you have to be ensure that you're aware of what the equality and diversity legislation is, and ensure that you followed that. Management of information is things like GDPR, so how you store your client records, who has access to them, and obviously the fact that you can't actually share that information obviously elsewhere as well. Environmental considerations, so that can be about how you deal with your waste. So you might actually have a waste company that come and collect your waste. You might have to segregate that into different bins as well, so that would be along those lines. It could also be about temperature control within your salon, keeping the area outside your salon clean as well. So you know, any dog mess or anything you might have to clear up there. And then any other organisation policy and procedures that you have to follow for that. The next one moves on to supporting others. So this is 1.2 here. So this talks about how you support others, including staff training, implementing policy and procedures and good working practices. So anything that you've written about in 1.1, this is about how you then ensure that your team that you work with follow that within 1.2. So it might be training that you give them when they join you. It might be ongoing training throughout the time that they work with you as well. Quite importantly, you can include obviously COVID and the COVID risk assessment that you've had to put together to work safely, COVID safe. So that part in 1.1 could be the legislation, and then in 1.2 could be how you've supported your customers to ensure the COVID safe and they're following like the new rules that you've had to introduce. 1.3 is then identifying and managing any non-compliance. So if you had a member of staff that failed to meet the health and safety legislation, it's what you would do about that. Or if you were a loan groomer, it could be if a customer's turned up not wearing a mask, or they've not followed your sort of protocol in terms of what you've set out to remain COVID safe, and what you do about that. 1.4 is then a situation where that's happened, so you give a real life example of what's happened where somebody hasn't met what you've wanted and what you've had to do about it. And then 1.5 talks about documentation that you would complete. So in here it does talk about having electronic recording forms, so that might be something you use for your customers. It also talks about risk assessments as well. So if you have had to do a risk assessment to stay open and remain COVID safe, then obviously this could be included in here as well. So I hope that helps clarify a little bit of what you might need to do to get you started. We return into the offices in the new year, and I know I've got calls booked from the 13th of January. If you've not booked your call yet, then please email lisa@heavenliz.com to request a time. You should have all received emails with time, available times in there. So check your junk boxes if you haven't had that yet. Hope you have a great time. Have a little look at it. If you can't quite work it out, then obviously wait for us in the new year and we'll go through it with you. Hope you have a lovely Christmas and New Year, and speak to you all soon. Thank you. Bye.